Hello, Gore Horrors and fellow Deadates. I'm Brendan.
I'm Sam.
And welcome to Our Life in Horror.
You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, X, and we're also on Patreon. We do after-hours shows. We've got extra content. We've got Discord. Shout out to our Patreon members, Sean, Miki, Bo, AJ, Rob, Kayla, Craig, and Jay. Thank you for subscribing. We're also on YouTube. Please go subscribe. We're still kind of new. But we have special guests here, another horror couple, AJ and Kristie from In Love with Horror. How are you guys doing?
We're good.
We're good. What's up, everybody?
Thanks for having us.
Of course. I'm so excited to do this. You guys are so laid back. And every time I watch your guys' lives and stuff, I just feel like I'm like chilling with you, even though I'm not actually there. I love
That's our vibe.
Yeah, I think that's what it's all about. Like keeping it laid back and just having a good time talking about movies, talking about horror. Like, you know, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Tell everyone where they can find you and what do you guys do on your channel? Talk about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, so we're In Love with Horror. I'll let her give all the handles and stuff because I don't remember. I wasn't very good. She's the social media expert. But we talk about, of course, everything horror. We focus on horror movies usually, and we do like reviews. We'll do discussions. We'll also, from time to time, do trailer reactions if it's a big enough reaction. And then, of course, we'll talk about horror news as well. We'll try to do that in like live stream format. But that's us. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We put our stuff sometimes on Spotify and Apple podcasts as well. I don't know if you want to give them like the
well, yeah, we're In the Love with Horror on Instagram, TikTok, and in the letter N, Love with Horror on Twitter because someone had it the word N.
Damn it.
Right. It's like they got us looking a little bit unbalanced.
It's not the same across all of them. But if you just search us In Love with Horror, you'll find us. But we just talk about all things horror. We're big horror fans. We love to talk about it. And that's what we do over on our side for the content.
Awesome. I love what you guys are doing. And everyone should definitely go and subscribe and check you guys out. So the movie we're doing today, we're getting into that now, right?
I was thinking, let's ask how they got into horror.
Yeah, because we're not doing an after-hours show with you guys. Sometimes we do after-hours, but it's a later recording today. So let's talk about that. How'd you guys get into horror?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
I let him tell it because he got me into horror.
Yeah, it's definitely always a funny discussion about that because like I've always been a big horror fan for a good portion of my life. And then when we met, she was like super lightweight horror. Yeah. And so it was basically fun for me to like put her in the situations of watching these scary ass movies. And that's how I kind of like corrupted her and got her into horror. But I was the fan first. And that goes way back to even when I was a kid. I just liked being scared. And then I slowly got her into it. And she used to scare you and torture you. And that's kind of, yep. I'm the one who pulled her into it. But that's kind of how like we got into horror.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Did you have another question?
What was your first horror movie?
Oh man, first horror movie. That's always a tough question because I can never really remember what my like first one was.
Okay, how about
which one do you remember?
I'm trying to remember.
Or the first horror movie that got you to like be like, this is my genre.
Man, what would be the first?
Lord.
I could tell you. Well, I'll tell you this though. One of the earliest memories I have of being scared in general by like scary content, which actually Tales from the Crypt. So my dad used to watch it, and the Crypt Keeper scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Like that horrified me. And then after that, I would say, as a kid, I remember watching. I want to say Nightmare on Elm Street, Sixth Sense, and Alien. Alien was a big one that I really liked. That I could say early on, like got me into a horror because it was just I like sci-fi. Yeah, so it's a combination, of both. So that's about some of the early horror movies that I can remember. But I know you kind of remember your first horror movie better than I do, or at least the ones from like, a kid. Yeah, I'll let you go.
Well, the first one I remember watching is Tales from the Hood, and that one was kind of like me not supposed to be watching horror movies with my older brothers because I was the only girl. And so they were all in the room watching it. And so I kind of just like maneuvered my way into the room, hidden behind the chair, and kind of watched it behind them. I wasn't supposed to. And it messed me up for a very, very long time. But once we started dating is once I kind of started like going hardcore with horror though.
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome. That's all I got.
That's all you got? Okay.
Yeah, of course. I think it's a good icebreaker background stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys picked the movie. So do you guys want to announce what movie we're doing and why did you guys pick this?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the movie is Hereditary. And this movie is just like, it's a excellent movie. And I think it's worthy of talking about. So to me, I feel like it's Oscar worthy. It's like one of the most perfect horror movies to me. So
yeah, I agree. Like it's one of those films that's rare in horror where like it's firing on all cylinders from, you know, characters, the scare factor, the overall like production value of it. Like it's just a beautiful, horrific film. You know what I'm saying? And then we have recently watched it in IMAX, which is incredible, by the way. So that's also what prompted us to pick that as well. But yeah, Hereditary. It's just it's an awesome movie to talk about, dive into from the different, you know, theories and stuff within the movie. So it's just a fun one. Yeah, we love it. It's high on our list for us.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. I will get into some of the movie, like the synopsis and stuff in the cast, and then we'll get into the discussion. It's really dark in here. It has a 7.3 on IMDb and a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. When the matriarch of the Graham family passes away, her daughter and grandchildren begin to unravel cryptic and increasingly terrifying secrets about their ancestry, trying to outrun the sinister fate that they have inherited. Release date is June 8th, 2018. Director is Ari Aster. Budget is $10 million. Cast is Toni Collette, Alex Wolff, Millie Shapiro, Gabrielle Byrne, and Dowd. Speaking of Ari Aster, do you guys like Midsommar?
Yes, you haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love it though. I think I watched the theatrical version in theaters, and then I watched the director's cut when that came out. I haven't rewatched it in quite some time, but I was a big fan of it when it came out, mainly because it was unique in that it was a horror movie that pretty much occurred all in the daytime. You know what I'm saying? Like, which I think is unique. I think it's hard to be scary but also like having a lot of scares in the daytime. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's tough to pull off, and I feel like that movie did really good. But yeah, I love Ari Aster. His vision for anything, I think, is
have you guys seen it?
Exciting.
Yeah, we've seen it a few times. We did an episode on it a while back with my sister and her boyfriend. They're not horror fans, so that one kind of shocked them. We just got them on the podcast. We're like, watch a horror movie and come on. But yeah, I love that movie too.
Mm-hmm. It's very anxiety inducing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's trippy too. It's a trippy film. Like as you get into it, it's anxiety inducing also is also a good word. Very graphic sometimes too.
Okay, no spoilers.
I didn't that opening scene for that movie, damn, like it's anyway.
Okay, so before we get in, we usually like to do our spoiler-free thoughts. You guys kind of already said yours, but if you guys want to add anything, you guys can.
I don't really think I have anything that can add spoiler free.
That's okay. Yeah,
I think that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we covered everything.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know how we feel.
What about you, Brandon?
I also really enjoy this film. I like the Oscar worthy that AJ brought up, because I definitely would agree with that in some categories for this movie. I watched a review not too long ago, and I love watching different people's reviews on it. And this guy did not like the movie. He liked the movie in that it was technically good, but he didn't like a lot of the story or the characters. So I tried to watch the movie from a different lens this time, and basically in his lens. But I still liked it a lot. And this is a hard movie to get through too, just like kind of like Midsummer.
Yeah. I actually am probably going to compare it to Midsummer a lot throughout this. I won't spoil anything for you, though. Don't worry. But yeah, I think this movie's incredible. Like the score, everything is just so effective in this movie. But yeah, we'll get into spoilers so we can talk about it. So listeners, you've been warned, but you've probably listened or watched it if you're clicking on this episode. So we'll start with describe this movie in 3 words. Do you guys want to start? Kristie, you want to start?
Effective was actually one of my words, the word you just said. I think it's very effective in the way that they do everything. Eerie, and then heartbreaking, because there are some really heartbreaking scenes in this one.
Definitely.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Describe in 3 words.
Look, I sent you the list. You're supposed to be prepared.
I messed up on that.
You had one job.
You know what? I'm going off the top right now.
Okay.
So I was going to say tragedy, legacy.
Okay.
And tragedy, legacy, and family. That's how I would describe this movie.
Okay.
That's kind of what it like centers around, is how I would describe it. Because I feel like, and we'll dig into it, but I feel like those things play a lot in why this movie is so great. And like it's so deep for it to be a horror movie, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's the 3 words that I would kind of ball up together for that.
Awesome. I got tragic and dark and depressing.
I put depressing as well. I put death. And I also put effective. And then I actually came up with 3 more for near the ending. I put naked people everywhere.
There is.
Everywhere.
There's a lot of
when we talked about that recently, you brought that up. Like Ari Aster likes naked old people.
Yeah, I was like, man, there's a lot of nakedness going on.
Yeah, I can't remember how I watched this the first time, but I don't remember that many naked people in the movie.
Me neither. Yeah. My first time watching this movie was on a laptop. So, and then he just got a new massive TV that we watched it on the other day, and I was like, nice. Oh wow.
they're everywhere.
See everything clearly now.
Yeah, you can.
A little too clearly in some of those scenes near the end. I'm like, damn.
Who's your guys' favorite character?
Oh man, that's tough.
He's not ready. Look, my favorite character was Peter. I loved Peter.
Yeah, Peter.
I thought he was so dynamic as a character. And I know a lot of people don't like him because of how emotional he was, but those were the things I liked about his character a lot.
And favorite is tough too, because I feel like I have different reasons for having favorites. Like obviously I love Toni Collette's character a lot. Because of the different things we go through with her throughout the film, and a lot of the drama and emotion and stuff like that. So naturally it feels like a favorite, but man, Peter just goes through a lot of shit in this movie. I mean, a fuck ton of stuff. So like I think I would have to agree with you in terms of like favorite, just because it's just fucking sad, you know what I'm saying? And like dude did his best to make it through.
He did.
But yeah, I would go with you on Peter.
Yeah. Okay.
It's 3 for 3. I also went with Peter.
Okay.
I went with Peter because he's kind of not 100% at fault for the actions that happen around him. Like it wasn't the reason Charlie was with him wasn't his fault. But at the same time, with your little sister being there, you probably shouldn't have went off and smoked weed.
Yep.
But that's what an irresponsible teenager would do at a party. That's you can't fault him for that. But then at the dinner scene, he doesn't like he hasn't apologized for his actions yet either.
Yeah.
But that I think that's just a naive teenager thing. Is he's just putting his blame on his mom, and this whole family dynamic is so complex, and I just love every second. But I think Peter definitely gets the shit end of the stick throughout the whole entire movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I actually went through Annie. I think she just went through a lot, and I don't know. I just enjoyed following her story the most, and she just, she broke so hard.
Yeah.
But I can definitely it's so tough to pick someone in this movie because it's so depressing, and there's not like anyone with like any comic relief or anything. Like,
no,
it's really hard to pick a person. They're all going through so much crap. But yeah, Annie was my first instinct, I guess. So that's why I went with her. Least favorite character?
Jones ass.
Yeah. 100% agree. Yep.
I like her.
Yep.
I know she had to be who she was, but
she
still,
played her part perfectly.
She really did.
Damn.
But yeah, I didn't like her just because she, went against
manipulated the whole thing.
Yeah.
But man, you gotta give her kudos for like that execution was flawless. Like right place, right time, perfectly. Like set everything up. And like she's really the main reason that everything was able to be so successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I definitely agree too. I went with Joan too.
Yeah, I'm going with her too. I don't know if either of you guys watch Handmaid's Tale.
I only watched the first 2 seasons.
Okay, she plays Aunt Lydia, and I'm not a fan of that character either. So right from the jump, I was like, "Oh man."
You already had bias against her.
She does her job real well.
Yeah, but yeah, she's a nut. Best acting.
Toni Collette.
That's Toni Collette. Hey, but what's his name? Alex Wolff, right?
Yeah.
Man, that dude is a close
He's
second.
still good.
There's some powerful scenes with him. But yeah, Toni Collette, like that whole lost scene of her, wailing in the bed. Like that was the most realistic, emotional scene. And it's crazy it's in a horror film, right? Because you just don't expect that caliber of acting in a horror movie. And I'm just like, man, like the theater is quiet. Like it digs into you in a way I've just never seen from an emotion standpoint in a horror movie. Toni Collette, like she should have got an Oscar for this.
She definitely deserved it.
Even the non-super emotional ones, like her monologue at the little counselor meeting thing, that was a long monologue, and like, man, like she had me thinking that this shit was real. Like, well, how she delivered that monologue in that that meeting. But yeah, Toni Collette is next level.
I agree that I agree with that scene that you guys are talking about. It reminded me of Midsommar actually with Florence Pugh. I'm like, because Midsommar came after, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I was like, man, Florence Pugh probably watched Toni Collette's performance and like took notes from that because it was flawless. And she did amazing. Like the whole way through this movie, she had so many good scenes.
I went with Toni Collette as well. I went with my thinking was the dinner table scene.
That too. Yep.
It's just so incredibly tense, and there's just so much resentment in her voice.
That scene is like very powerful.
Yeah.
And I think the great thing too with Toni Collette is obviously like her vocal presence, but like just the overall body language and like her delivery, especially in like that dinner scene too. Like, man, it was just amazing to watch.
Yeah, she's been a powerhouse like since the get-go.
I was gonna say she does really good in family dynamics too. Like I love her in Krampus.
Yeah.
I just love her when she's in a family role. I don't know why. She just does so good.
She does.
Yeah, she's great in Krampus.
I do love that one.
I was thinking The Sixth Sense at the end when she's finally listening to her son talk about.
That scene makes me cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredibly sad, and she is so fantastic.
I haven't seen that movie since I was so young, so I didn't even remember that she was in it. So I got to go back and watch it.
You definitely gotta watch it. Oh yeah, she delivers some really good lines in that movie
She
too.
does. Yep.
I like when I know this is not the movie, but when
That's okay.
when she finds out that the little kid was beating on Cole, and she thought that he did something to him when he was in the little room thing.
Yep.
And she called the mom on the phone. That was so good. Yep. She didn't play by her child.
Yeah, she did not play. But yeah, that she's powerful in that movie too.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, like you said, Brendan, that ending scene Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
And like man, she could just like her. I don't know how actors do it, but she's really good at just bringing like this really raw emotion that looks so believable.
Yeah.
I equate it to like because I'm only bringing this up because I had a similar feeling. Like, remember in Interstellar? Have y'all seen it when Matthew McConaughey was?
I fell asleep in the theater.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Please don't tell him that.
I haven't watched it since.
I love that movie, but there's a very powerful scene with Matthew McConaughey where it's very emotional, and that's the kind of vibe that reminds you of it.
Oh yeah,
like they're pulling out this, like they really experience what's happening in the movie. You know, yeah,
good acting,
talent, yeah.
Score and soundtrack.
I love the soundtrack and the score. Like, I don't know, when you listen to it, it helps with that eeriness that I was talking about. Like, it gets under your skin. It's almost like something picking at you. Like I don't even know all the instruments that this guy used, but those were some good instruments he picked, because it makes you feel like something is like gnawing at you or something like that. I don't know how to explain it, but
yeah, and with that too, they really tailored the music to the different scenes and like what was happening. I noticed throughout a lot of the scenes, especially the more tense ones, they use this like heavy like bass that mimics like a fast heartbeat, and it happens in a lot of the tense scenes that really just elevates the scene to make you feel even more stressed out.
Yeah.
But the different notes throughout the different scenes in the movies, like they're always slightly different, but they make you feel like, you know, when we're hitting like what would you call it? Like the big finale of the movie, when all the shit hits the fan inside the house. There's, like you're kind of saying, they're using like a lot of different instruments, and the music almost makes you feel like confused and chaotic, kind of mimicking what I imagine like Peter was feeling, like what the fuck is going on? But yeah, it heightens the anxiety and like creepy factor.
Yeah.
But I like that dig into the skin type of thing. But I did want to comment. I know we're speaking about music. There's a lot of moments in this film where the lack of music elevates the scene too. There's a lot of scenes in this movie where it's like deathly silent, and it's almost just pure vocals and like nothing else is going on. And they'll do that a lot in some of these scenes too in this movie, where like the music will heighten and then they'll just cut it. You know what I'm saying? And then it'll like, so your focus is directly on what's like happening in the performance and stuff. But like the overall audio and music, soundtrack in this movie is next level.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to add. That was really good. I really enjoyed the clicks with the sound of design, and especially later on, and how it becomes like almost every time you hear it, it's like a jump scare.
Like when Charlie clicks. Yeah. And
then you know Charlie's passed, but then all of a sudden the family starts hearing it around them, and they get spooked. But like every time I heard it, I was like, "Holy fuck, what's going on?"
Yes.
I don't have a whole lot more to say. You guys brought up everything I was going to say. I'm going to keep talking about Midsommar here because everything reminded me of it. Like that, I can't spoil anything. So that intense scene in the beginning where the music got really intense in Midsommar, I recognized it in this movie too. And it just gets under your skin so much. Like it just, something about it is intense. I actually have a fun fact about the music that I'm going to pull up here quick. I do the fun facts at the end, but see if I can find it fast enough. Composer Colin Stetson found inspiration for the score through the sounds of water and animals while walking around in pitch black at night.
Wow.
I actually can see that. Yeah, like especially the water aspect.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I like how the key was pitch black. Yep.
Cinematography.
Excellent cinematography.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie.
It really is.
A lot of good transitions and camera work.
Such good camera work. Like, good lighting, good color. Like everything was just really good.
I mean, like, one scene that always sticks out to me was during, the whole tragedy scenes. Mm-hmm. And you have that scene where the coffin's being lowered and the camera's kind of lowering with the coffin. And then it literally goes to the ground and then it transitions into the next scene. I don't know. I was like, man, that shit's cool.
It is cool. Well, you all know which one I always talk about is when the big thing happens in the car and we look at Peter's face and then him looking in the rearview mirror, but going back because he can't look. But the way that the camera does it, like
follow
his
eye movement. Yeah,
I love that so much. It's so good. But another fun fact: the cinematography for this cinematographer is the same cinematographer who did Midsommar and Bo Was Afraid.
Okay, so he just worked with them.
Yeah, he worked for all of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you guys seen Bo Was Afraid?
We have.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that one yet.
I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You like that one?
I liked it. It's definitely not for everybody. It's different. It's very different from his other films.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But man, you got to watch at least once because you have to admit it is an experience.
It's definitely an experience.
It gets wild. You thought Miss Samara was trippy. This shit.
Yeah, I feel like you have to be like ready to be on a trip,
an acid trip or something. Yeah. But I also think a lot of people might not have liked that one because his films prior were very horror heavy.
Yeah.
And this film has elements, but it's definitely not
true.
Like the focus of it. It's sort of
I agree with that.
That's the best way I can describe it. But yeah, watch it. It's an experience. Check it out.
Yeah.
Long, but it's good.
All right. Cinematography?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a category where Oscar definitely should have been thrown at this movie because I think it's insanely gorgeous to look at. You got the camera working the way through the model house into actual full scenes that are happening. It's just
I love that.
Seamless. I don't know how they did it. I'd love to know, but I can't wrap my brain around it. It looks so good. You also have some nice camera footwork too when Annie's walking down the hallway to confront Joan because now she knows that she's been essentially duped. You have her. It starts with her upside down, and then the camera does a flip following her, and then it goes back down and follows her right. Yeah. It's almost like her world's been flipped, and now she's getting back to normal. Yeah. Everything about this, like you guys said about the transitions with the grave, is excellent as well. There's just so much. This should absolutely be studied in schools for cinematography.
Definitely.
I have a couple scenes too when they're on the way to the party and we get that shot of the pole and it's like if you've seen the movie or have heard of the movie you know what's coming and it just caught me off guard because I forgot they did that. I was like, oh, the pole, oh god.
Yep. Did you see the symbol in the pole?
No, I didn't notice that actually. No.
Yeah, so the
thing that was in the attic.
Yep.
Okay.
It's on the pole too.
Oh, okay. I did not notice that.
Yeah, we noticed that on our second viewing too when we watched it in IMAX recently. It's like, man, that symbol was literally everywhere.
Yeah. Kind of like how you said earlier, how it's different watching it on a bigger screen and you see a lot more stuff when you watch it. So us watching it in the IMAX, I was just like, oh wow, I never even knew that was there.
Yeah, she had caught the symbol in a lot of places. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. I also have the scene after the car scene when Peter's getting into bed and it's just like a shot down the hallway and you just see him getting into bed. I thought that was a good shot. Yeah. I also liked how the camera, it kept moving slowly and it would be some like two people would be in frame and then it would go to two other people, and then it almost made you worried something was going to pop up when it went back to the other people. Like I was on edge the whole time because I'm like, what's going to be in the scene when it moves back? And then nothing would happen though. So, I don't know, it creeped me out. But yeah, I think this movie's beautiful. It's so well done.
Yeah, I agree fully.
Favorite costumes and outfits?
Well, I would say that there's nothing that really I would say is like my favorite thing, but I do like that the way that they dressed everyone, I feel fit the characters really, really well.
I agree.
You know, the way Charlie dresses fits her character perfectly. The way Peter dresses, you know, like almost like you can identify from the way they're dressed and the colors they wear, like what that scene is going to be about, or, you know, how their emotions going to be. Yep. Like, I feel like everything in this movie was so perfectly like interwoven, including the way they dressed.
Yeah, I agree fully. That's what I was going to say too, is that how the characters dress like fit like how they are, what they do. Like the dad's like, you know, he's very laid back but still kind of like formal, so he always dresses in like a business casual type of way. Like I just felt like everything was fitting, even the like cult people and like their attire had this like cult hippie flavor to it. I'm mainly speaking about Joan, really, but I feel like I feel like everybody was fitting though. I feel like that's the best thing I could say about the costumes is if they looked like what I would think these characters look like in real life.
Yeah, that was awesome. I lack in this subject, so I don't have anything.
I usually have a lot, but for this movie I didn't. I'm usually pointing out all the cute outfits or the cool outfits, and I actually didn't write too much for this one, so I'm glad you guys had something to say.
Well, yeah, because you know, it's not like a traditional horror movie where like you'd be like, oh yeah, this costume was creepy, or you know what I mean, like we can kind of like dive into like maybe the colors, what they mean, or the design, but it's like a family drama. Like, you're in a whole lot to
it. Memorable lines. Do you guys have any from this movie?
Well, I feel like there's so many of that. We would probably both say the same thing, right? From definitely the dinner scene run, right? I like her singing, "Hey, I'm your mother." I like that one. And then when she's like, what did she say? Something about like, all I get is that fucking face on your face.
Right.
I really like that a lot.
Yeah.
I almost wrote that
too. Only thing I could add to it was you know, the monologue at the end that Joan is given to how do you say the name again? Is it Payman?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Payment.
You know,
what are you talking about? Which
when she was delivering that, you know, letting Charlie know,
was there something Payman out of it that you
just the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Like that's the only thing I was gonna add to it. Like, you know, and then the ominous like ending of, you know, Hail Payman, and then the cult like echoing it. I don't know, there's something eerie about it that like I don't know. And then because they're saying it, and then, you know, Charlie just has this like blank look of like confusion, like, you know, and shock, and there's something eerie about that. I don't know. I remember it though.
I also wrote down "I am your mother" because I've heard that from my mother before. that hit close to home. Let me see, and then I wrote down. There's not too many. I wrote this. Who says this? This is Steve. Says, "You mean more than your headless mother's body?" Of course there is, because that's when Joan's like, there's more. Oh, of course there is. There's more going on than your mother's headless body upstairs. The good chuckle.
I only wrote one down, and it was, "I never wanted to be your mom." I thought that was really sad.
Yeah. I did write that one down too. But
did you?
Yeah.
That's the only one I wrote. It shocked me, actually. I was like, ouch. That's stung.
was a tough
Do you guys
scene.
have lines disliked? I didn't write any for this, but
I didn't either.
No, I don't think there was anything line-wise I disliked. No.
I did.
what's yours?
I wrote one line, and it is, "You're taking your sister to the party." Because because Annie had literally asked Peter how many times if he was drinking.
Yeah.
Yep.
She knew that this was an older party,
Yeah.
an older high school party that probably Charlie, being at 13, I think she was, should not be attending.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then she forces her to go anyways because she finds Charlie outside not wearing shoes. So she gets mad and she's like, "Oh, you're going to go do whatever Peters is doing."
Yeah.
It's just, it's incredibly irresponsible.
Okay.
Very.
Yeah, I feel like in that scene, I almost felt two things. Like, one, I feel like she was forcing her to go to like get her to socialize, right?
No, she wasn't.
And then two, maybe because this has happened to me.
Okay.
You know, of sending the younger sibling to try to force the older one to not do no dumb shit and not get into anything. Because now you have to watch your younger sibling, so you can't get into anything. So
You
I
got
think
the
it was
responsibility. Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it was like two of those things. It's like how I interpreted that whole like, "Oh, you gotta go. She's going with you," you know? Because that used to happen to me with my younger brothers. Like, "Oh, he's going with you." It's like, the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Now I can't have any fun.
Did you still do what you wanted to do?
No, not fully. No.
Wait, hold on. What did you want to do?
Man, we're just going to arcades and stuff like
Okay, sure. Then you can take him with you to the arcade.
Oh, that's funny.
Just saying, Peter got to do what he wanted to do. He wanted to smoke some weed with his cute girl sitting in front of him. Yeah.
Favorite kill?
Oh man. Which one were you gonna pick?
When Annie was sawing her neck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's probably the most memorable one.
It was the most shocking one to me.
Because
I was like,
"This
is she gonna go out?
Yeah.
Oh
no. Yeah. Memorable in the sense of like what you actually can see.
Yeah.
But obviously, I don't know if it's my favorite, but you know, the car scene is like
that's mine too.
The most shocking because, and we actually have a funny story with that because when we first ever watched Hereditary, we watched it at home. We didn't watch it in the theater for our first viewing. We were watching it on, was it my projector at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when that scene happened, we actually had to pause it because we just couldn't believe what just happened. Like, we literally paused the movie and I got up and I was like, "What?" we were both like jaw just dropped and like had to take a moment. It was just like we hadn't even heard anything about like that scene, so that it was like 100% like pure shock reaction. So that's definitely like out of a lot of horror movies the most shocking like kill ever.
Yeah.
And also it was a random inanimate pole kill. I don't think I've ever seen a kill like that in a horror movie. Yeah. What about y'all?
That's mine too. Same thing. The first time I watched it, you recommended it to me, and I was watching it on a laptop at home by myself, and I didn't know that was going to happen either. And it's just so jarring. I paused it too and texted him and was like, "What the fuck?" So yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, you can't say it's like your favorite. You love that it happened,
right.
But like, it's definitely the most iconic.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I actually went with Annie too. I think that was also equally as jarring because it's something you just didn't expect to happen either. But yeah, Charlie is definitely the most memorable kill. You even get time to process it with our character as well after it happens, and I think that's a super effective way to have shot that scene.
Definitely.
Good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
You're almost having...
also like.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna add to it that I also like I like when they write the performances. I don't know if it was in the script or not, but when like the reaction isn't like extra like over dramatized, like it's just like a pure shock. Like he didn't even say anything. He didn't even like even fully react really, because it was like this pure shock thing. I don't know if y'all have seen Thanksgiving, but there's a scene similar to like pure shock in there. I don't know what it is, but like I much prefer like that subtleness of shock versus like
someone like screaming,
like over the top. Yeah, yeah. So that scene I thought was also cool because of that. That like I don't know, something about that shock reaction that just felt more believable than like someone
totally
like
agree.
freaking out in that. Yeah, yeah.
It makes your stomach hurt. Like you feel anxious, like you just did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what have I done? What's your favorite or least favorite kill?
For me, because I love Peter so much, him like jumping out the window and dying was my least favorite because I didn't want him to die.
I was actually gonna say, and I can't recall the dad's name, but I was gonna say him because I just didn't understand it, to be honest.
I didn't either.
Steve.
Yeah, I was like, what? Why the fuck is he getting burned? Like it just didn't make sense to me. So that was my least favorite one.
I went with Steve too, just because he just had no gripe in the situation at all. Poor guy's just married in.
He
was trying to bring everybody together. He was doing his best.
He
was doing his fucking best.
He's just trying to help everybody through the grieving process and let everybody do their own thing. And finally, he ends up not being able to put up with it, and he gets punished for it immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really understand how the whole book burning thing worked either. But...
Yeah, I didn't get it either. Maybe some magic or something in the book. I don't know.
Yeah, because like most of the time when the devil is a demon is like tricking you, usually it's the other way, right? So she thought that she was gonna die the whole time when they burned the book. But
is that what she thought?
Yeah, because she caught on fire.
That's why she was.
I thought she was gonna push him in the fire. I was like, this bitch's gonna push him. That's why she's saying I love you. I totally didn't catch that.
Tell them about burning the book.
What?
When she tried to burn the book the first time, her sleeve cut on fire.
Oh.
Wouldn't go out until she brought the book out.
I must have not caught on to that.
Taking notes or something.
I do that too. I'm trying to take notes or something and I miss something. People like, did you catch that? Nope.
I hate that.
But yeah, it was weird. It just didn't make sense. Even when we rewatched it in IMAX, I was like,
yeah,
I'm trying to figure out the reasoning behind this, and I'm just not understanding. Like,
got burnt to a crisp.
Right? Yeah.
My least favorite was the bird that crashed into the window, and then Charlie cuts its head off. I thought that was gross.
She cut the mess out of that bird.
Cut the head off.
Yeah. I thought that was unnecessary.
Innocent bystander.
Yeah. Gore factor and special effects.
Excellent special effects.
Yeah, they were good special effects.
Obviously I think there's the obvious ones, but I don't know if it was purely on Alex Wolff's acting or if they did some extra shit to him, but that whole like classroom scene,
I was just thinking that
I don't know like how, I don't know if he just contorted his face or they put like some tape on it or something. Like it was creepy and it was super weird.
Yeah.
But the whole effects of that scene, even him slamming his face on the desk, I don't know how they made it look so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be my vote for like a special effects I really like that was not like the super gory ones.
Yeah.
That whole seems creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was some good gore though. Between like the head.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's multiple headless bodies.
Yep.
Just all kinds of stuff. I thought that they did a really good job with what they did.
Yeah, and Annie like flying.
Yeah,
that was a good effect too.
It was good.
It looked weird, but in a good way.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I would say, wait, is this a negative? I think, are we doing negatives?
No, it's just the category in general.
Okay, cool. Well, the scene where she's on the ceiling in the corner of his bedroom and then her like crawling out really, really fast. That one wasn't that good.
I thought that was good.
No,
I didn't like it either.
It kind of made me giggle.
I thought she was like floating and swimming, and
yeah, it looked really weird.
That's why I liked it.
I wish
it was so weird.
I wish she like crawled on the wall out or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It didn't work.
The first time sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just thought the first time I watched the movie, it was super effective.
But on the big screen, it's hilarious.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. Watching in the IMAX is what changed it for me because I was like, oh, well, no, that does not look good.
I liked it, man. I got to say I liked it. So, I just didn't expect it. And now we're like, oh, man, this is like some full-powered demon mode shit. Like,
just the way it looked. We're talking about the way it looked, not the action.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I see what y'all are saying, but I still like it.
Okay.
I really like the ants when
oh, that was so nasty.
Yeah, when Peter's covered in ants in Annie's dream.
Yeah, that freaked me out.
Yeah, I thought that was good. And also Charlie's head too, when we get to see Charlie's quick reveal head. They linger on that for way longer than they needed to.
A long time.
Yeah, they did.
I was like, dang.
That head was jacked.
Yeah, I put down the Peter classroom scene as well, Charlie's head with the bugs, and even her allergic reaction looked like she was all red.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
It was well done. The ants freaked me out because it started off with the ants on the ground, and we've had ant problems in our house before. And literally, like, we had someone come and spray, and then we would go to work, and then we'd come home from work, and there would just be dead ant corpses everywhere, and then we'd clean them up, and then the next day they'd be everywhere again because they were all just like dying, right? But they would come up to die, and they were all over our house. It was like a horror movie in itself. So that was effective for me.
Yeah.
The whole shockwave, that blue wave paranormal thing. I thought that was interesting too. I just never seen something like that in terms of like indicating something paranormal is occurring. I don't know. I thought that was an interesting way to do it.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Storyline and pacing.
I thought the pacing was excellent.
Yeah.
There's never a point, at least for me personally, especially because the movie is a little bit slower before it gets to the big moment. But the characters feel so believable and interesting that like it doesn't feel like super slow. Because sometimes you watch movies and they have a build up where you're getting to know the characters, but there's something about it just doesn't, like, you don't connect with. But this movie's different. Like, everything's interesting. Like, you're getting drawn into these characters, this family. And I feel like the pacing works really well. And the story is really cool, especially on a second viewing where you're starting to like catch a little bit of the clues and the smaller things. That just makes it more fun.
Yeah.
It makes it more rewatchable, even more fun on the rewatch.
Yeah.
But definitely cool concept story-wise.
Great.
Yeah. The theme of this movie is just so death. Like, it starts off like with the grandma dying and them questioning if they're sad enough, and it's like a lot of people can relate to that too, with maybe family they're not so close with, and then Charlie being like, what am I going to do when you die? And then Charlie's death, and that's so heavy, and then the support group, and man, it's a rough storyline to get through. And then even like how it affects marriages and stuff, like it really, I don't know, it's so depressing. But I thought it was well paced. I don't typically like long movies because I get antsy. But I didn't mind this runtime, and it was just over 2 hours, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the reason I haven't seen Beau is Afraid yet, because of how long it is. We'll get long to it, but yeah.
And you feel the length of that one, I think.
Yeah, there's some moments I can genuinely say where they're like, I'm like, wow, they really spent like 15, 20 minutes on this. I can't believe it. Like, they got moments like that in there.
I also think this movie is excellently paced. Yeah. Yeah, the storyline is good. All the characters are interesting. It's I know a lot of people tend to have gripes with the third act and it becoming like paranormal, but I like it.
I do too.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it like the rest of the movie has been setting it up from the beginning. So if it truly throws a like I understand you probably didn't want it to go that way,
Yeah.
but
The paranormal way.
yeah,
Where else would they have taken it though? Just a depressing movie where just everyone
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it could have went like in a dementia kind of like mental state kind of thing.
psychosis.
Yeah, because
Okay.
that hence hereditary, she got it from her mom because her mom was dealing with
Yeah.
that before she passed, right? And
Oh,
it's
okay,
just
I
like
gotcha.
passed down. And her
Is that what
brother,
the guy said in that review you watched?
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. He said the big thing with him is he just couldn't grab onto a character. Um,
Hmm.
he just couldn't find a character that he could actually like and stick through and watch the whole time and or root for, essentially.
Mhm.
There's no final girl in this movie.
Right.
You're simply
Definitely not. Yeah.
watching this family deal with grief and the repercussions of death and accidental death,
Yeah.
and how it affects everyone around you, essentially. And also like the people that you put your faith in that you maybe probably shouldn't have with Joan. You entrust
Yeah.
this person with personal feelings that you're telling her, and then she uses that to manipulate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to your point, when you think about it, the movie is completely downhill. Like the family never has an uplifting moment, like
Yeah.
at
No,
all.
they don't.
Like at all. Like you're just getting beat over the head the whole entire movie.
Yeah.
So
I can
get
see
that.
how like people who are, heavy horror fans might not like this movie because of those aspects, Brandon, that you mentioned. So I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Favorite scenes.
I have a lot, but if I had to pick one, I think the seance scene. Because
Which one? Which seance?
Sorry. Yeah, that's right. She did do one with Joan. I meant
You
the
talking about
one
the one with
that
the
Annie
family?
does with Steve and Peter.
Okay.
Because you have like a lot going on, right? So you have Steve, he's clearly believing that she's lost her mind, right? So he's viewing this as her ass is crazy, you know? And then you have Peter, who's like kind of like hoping that she hasn't lost her mind and that he can also maybe like possibly communicate with Charlie. But at the same time, he's totally freaked out by the fact that could be possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously she is in her mind like, okay, I finally can let go of some of this burden that I'm carrying because then I can talk to Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a whole lot of emotions going on in this scene, along with just the overall direction of everything that's happening, the way they do everything, like the clicking sounds and just this freak. You're expecting to see something the way that they shoot this scene. It just keeps you on edge, kind of like how you were mentioning earlier, Sam, like how it keeps you like wanting something to happen, but not really wanting something to happen. So I really love that scene a lot.
Yeah, that scene was really good. Even the like conclusion of it, like when Peter was like freaking the fuck out.
He was
like, make it stop. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
And that was our first glimpse of like that full like possession type shit too.
Oh yes, that was a good aspect of that scene too.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was such a good scene.
Yeah, like when she like got possessed by Charlie or whatever. Man, but to your point, there's a lot of great scenes in this movie. I really do love that scene too. I'm actually gonna pick one that might not be picked a lot. I was actually gonna pick the Joan seance one because that scene is creepy. Like it's dark as hell, and you don't really know like how this is going to go. And then like Annie's reaction to it all is initially like this like what like almost like awe, but then it quickly as it becomes more real, like now becomes scary, and she's like freaking the fuck out, and you see like her hair get blown a little bit, and like her reaction to it, and the music has that like heartbeat shit going on. It's just like there's something about that scene that just like gets under my skin, and it's genuinely like creepy as hell.
Yeah.
That's why I would never do no shit like that, no seance shit. How about y'all?
We've talked about a lot of my favorites already. I agree, both the seance scenes. Another one that I really liked the one where she's in the corner of the bedroom and just sitting there, and it goes so slow of him like just getting up out of bed and stuff, and it's just so creepy. But also when he runs up into the attic and you hear her banging on the attic, and then it shows what she's doing, and she's like banging her head.
Yeah.
That startled me.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's so creepy.
It is creepy.
I really like Annie's sleepwalking dream.
Yeah.
It just goes through so many scares and then different emotions, and then bam, everything's on fire. It's like, what? Like it like cuts to Peter yelling at her, and then it cuts back to Annie, and she's just soaking wet, and then all of a sudden she's trying to justify what she's been saying, and then all of a sudden the match lights, and it's like, holy! I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now?
That's a good one too.
It is good.
Yeah, this movie has a lot of great scenes. Like, man, it's crazy to think about that, but there are a ton of just really good scenes and sequences throughout the entire film.
Yeah. Do you guys have any least favorite scenes?
I try to think about that, but I don't think I really have like I would say like a dislike scene. If I had to tie it back into what I said earlier, it was, the Steve catching fire, just because I just understand the whole sequence, even from like the story writing perspective. But I can't think of one that I don't think there was ever a moment where I disliked the scene.
Yeah. I mean, I would say I just didn't. I know this had to happen for us to get where we were going, but the fact that Peter let her go into that kitchen and then check to see if it was cake that had nuts in it. Like, your sister's allergic. You should be like, oh, they got cake. Well, let me go check to make sure this cake is safe for you to eat.
Mm-hmm. Also, she should know better too at her age.
Hey,
she's old enough.
I know. Yeah. I was just so annoyed at that. I was like, now her ass about to choke to death.
It takes a lot longer for a reaction than I thought it was gonna. Like for allergies.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot more instant, but it seems like it took a while to kick in.
You got at least 10 minutes. Actually. I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I've never seen it happen. I hope I never do.
Either. Yeah.
Did you have any least?
No, I did write something, but it's kind of what I talked about already, which is Annie forcing Charlie to go to the party.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I'm real stuck on that.
Didn't even want to go.
I'm gonna
brought that shit up too.
I'm gonna go with the floating Annie scene. Actually, I'll bring that up again. Oh. just the floating part where she's like swimming in the air. It was just a little silly. Our next category is the killer, and I'm not really sure who we would like. Would that be
Joan? I would attribute it more to like the cult in general.
The cult, I guess.
Yeah. The cult of payment.
I guess because they're the ones who kind of like set all this stuff in motion or believe that this is what they had to do
since Charlie was born.
Yeah. Okay, there's a lot of weird stuff. Like in my mind, I'm thinking if your mom did some of these things, you wouldn't think those things were weird.
Right. Like
like her breastfeeding her baby and stuff.
Baby. Yeah.
I don't think I would be like, oh, that's normal. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole cult aspect, I think that was probably my favorite part of the movie. I wish we got a little bit more of it, but I understand, the storytelling, but I did like that aspect. And then seeing how they were like so integrated in everything around them, and yet this family was so oblivious to all of that.
That was shocking too, for her to not have no inkling of this cult like at all.
Yeah.
And she's middle aged at this point.
True.
It was more shy. It was surprising.
You saying that you wish you got more of the cult, you should watch Midsummer for sure.
Okay.
That should be like top of your list.
I'm definitely gonna watch it now.
That'd be a weekend project for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you that.
I'll watch it in the daytime though.
That's fine. The movie's not very dark. A lot of it happens in the day. So.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Get the creepiness out the way.
Yep.
I don't have a whole lot to add about the cult, really.
Yeah, I don't either. They're naked.
They're naked. I did
They're
notice
naked.
a lot more naked
They
people
like-
in the background this time around in the attic. A couple heads
Their
there
ritual calls
hiding.
for nakedness.
Yeah.
If you look real closely too, this is an Easter egg breakdown that I watched of the movie, but like if you look real closely at the naked people, you'll see them scattered throughout the film. Like one of them is Alex's teacher.
Yeah.
There's the guy at the funeral home who was smiling at Charlie.
Oh, I never caught up to that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them that are just scattered throughout the movie.
Interesting.
Mhm.
So
They're at that
Because you had caught
that-
some necklaces and
call it?
stuff at different
when she goes to the thing too.
the little meeting.
Yeah.
The grief meeting, whatever.
Mhm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. I never caught on to any of that. That's cool. So scary rating out of 10, 10 being very, very scary and a 1 being not scary at all. What would you rate this movie?
Man, scary. That's tough, right?
Yeah.
Like, scary.
I think there are some scary moments.
Yeah.
So I put it somewhere around 6 out of 10.
I think if we're talking sheer like scary. When the scary moments do happen, like they're pretty effective.
Yeah.
So I might go 7.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Yeah, I think I might go, but it's weird because it's like it's a different kind of scary.
Yeah.
So it's hard to articulate that completely, but I think 6 or 7. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a tough category.
Oh yeah,
What are you going with?
I went with 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with a 6 too. There's definitely a couple scenes that had my heart going, but
Yeah.
I've still seen scarier, I guess. I don't know. It's such a hard category when you watch a lot of horror movies and you're a little
Yeah, exactly.
desensitized. But
Yeah.
there's definitely some good scares though, so I'll go with a 6. Rewatchability, and would you recommend?
Yes and yes.
Yeah, it's highly rewatchable. That's actually cool to rewatch.
I wouldn't say rewatch it often.
Oh yeah,
But you could definitely rewatch it.
you don't want to be too depressed. But it's definitely rewatchable and highly recommend to view it. Obviously, it's gonna be you got to put some warnings attached to it a little bit, but
Yeah, for sure.
I think for any horror fan, they should give it a chance.
Mhm.
And then people who might not really like horror, there's aspects to it that are heavy on the drama side,
Mhm.
like a family drama movie, that they could kind of dig into from those aspects. Obviously, they gotta accept the little bit of horror they drop in, especially towards the finale and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely recommend this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Yes, and yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
For me, this movie is super depressing and a little on the long side, so rewatchability is a little lower for me personally. But like you guys have been saying, like there's so many things that you can catch watching it again, though. So maybe for that, and yes, 100%, I would recommend this, especially if you're a horror fan, because it's just so effective. This like everything tied together, the score, everything. It's chilling.
Mhm. Yeah,
it's like that moment when you watch it, you're like, whoa, like this is what horror movies could be. Like they could be this good,
Yeah.
Like, they could be at the caliber where you feel like they get snubbed for awards and stuff like that. Yeah.
So final movie rating as a whole, we rate our movies with emojis. 1 out of 5 is the poop emoji. Then we have an eye roll emoji, an okay emoji, a thumbs up emoji, and the 100 emoji. What would you rate this movie?
100.
Yeah, I'm going 100 on the emoji just because, man, there's very few things I can even find wrong or that I dislike It's got to be 100 for this one.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going 100 too.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
This might be a first.
Yeah, we've all got the same score. That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to read some fun facts and then we'll wrap it up.
Cool.
Toni Collette had told her agent that she didn't want to do any more heavy, dark films and only wanted to do comedies, but she loved the Hereditary script so much she couldn't turn it down.
Wow.
I'm glad she didn't.
That's actually crazy. Yeah.
Apologies if you can hear our dog. He's having nightmares behind us.
Oh, you're right.
Ari Aster requested that Alex Wolff and Millie Shapiro go out to eat in character a few times, and they would sit for up to 3 hours in silence while Millie wouldn't speak and Alex would try to get her to talk.
Wow.
What?
That's dark.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
That method acting.
Toni Collette has called Ari Aster the most prepared director she's ever worked with. She praised him for practically having the full movie already shot and edited in his head 2 years before they started filming.
Wow.
Dang.
This is
I mean, I feel like it shows.
Yeah, absolutely. This is like that Jordan Peele Get Out scenario. This had been in the works for so long. He's seen this movie played out so many times in his head.
Yeah. Ari Aster liked Utah for the film because he thought its mountains are beautiful and breathtaking, but also menacing and ominous.
That's a good one. Yeah. I like that.
With Hereditary, Ari Aster wanted to make a film about suffering that took suffering seriously. Mm-hmm.
He did that.
He achieved that. And then
Ari Aster wanted any effect that could be done practically to be done that way instead of in post-production, which we always appreciate.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Love it.
According to Alex Wolff, the original cut of the film could have easily pushed over 3 hours. The cut footage mostly consists of more family dialogue.
Ooh,
I would love to see all that.
I would love to see like an extended cut.
Yeah.
Man, that would be legit.
I'm surprised we didn't get one, especially after the Midsummer cut we got, because they added like a lot to that director's cut.
Did we even ever finish it?
I don't think we did.
Wow.
We tried to watch the director's cut, but we were on mushrooms. Bad idea. Every 5 minutes we paused it. Because
holy shit.
No, we couldn't even get like past half hour, I think. It was too depressing.
Yeah, we made it a half hour to the movie and that was it.
and we had already seen the movie before.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a rough go. Ari Aster wrote detailed biographies and backstories for all of the characters before even writing the screenplay.
Okay, so he works in that super detailed world building way, at least with this one. Yeah.
Ari Aster wanted to go for scares that were emotionally justified rather than solely leaning on traditional horror jump scares. Yeah.
He did.
He did that.
Yes.
The film was shot in 32 days.
What?
That's really wow. Damn.
And
never thought that.
To make the chalkboard write on itself, the special effects team put a magnet in the chalk and put a magnet on the other side of the chalkboard to make the chalk move. It was very difficult to get a small magnet inside the chalk and make it write smoothly. Ironically, the same technique was used in the film version of Matilda, and Millie Shapiro, who plays Charlie, starred as Matilda in the Broadway musical. Oh, I didn't know that.
How about
Whoa, that's cool. Wow.
The entire interior of the Graham house was built on a soundstage. The house was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted to go there. Ari Aster has 10 screenplays written. He hopes to direct over the course of his career.
Nice.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Man. He's got 10 in the bank.
I hope we get another like horror heavy one because, like you guys said, Beau was Afraid it wasn't as horror.
No, definitely not.
I want another straight up horror from him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I want one too because he can deliver that high caliber type of ones.
Yeah,
I would love to see another one.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing next week?
He already announced this project, right?
What?
Didn't he already announce his next project?
Well, I don't know.
Has he?
I
think he did. I don't think it's not horror.
I'm not sure.
We have to Google that one, but I feel like he announced it, and it's not a horror movie, at least because I think they already started filming or they're going to, but I think it's not a horror movie.
Another drama.
That's
or something.
unfortunate.
I know he produced some Sasquatch movie. And there's
He
a trailer.
produced that?
Oh.
Yeah, I think he produced that.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Sasquatch family story. It looks like
I
it's
did see
more.
the trailer for that. It looks really weird.
Yeah.
So I googled it real quick because I remember I heard about this. So Ari Aster's next film is called Eddington. Eddington revolves around a small town New Mexico sheriff with ambitious dreams.
Oh, that's all it says.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, that doesn't sound
so it
too.
sounds like it's gonna be more of like a drama versus a horror movie. Oh, here we go. Contemporary Western.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Not really up my alley, but
Yeah.
No, right.
It'll
No.
probably be good, but it's not what we want. Yep.
I'm
go.
just trying to find out what we're doing next week because I forget. Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. You playing everything.
No. We always announce what our next episode is, and to be completely honest,
You're doing a live next week.
oh yeah, Wednesday. So this episode comes out this coming Monday. So Wednesday of this week, we're doing
Top 5 top 10 horror movies. Oh, okay.
top 10 summer horror movies. We're doing a live with Critic After Dark and Frank's Media and Reviews. So that'll be at 8 p.m. EST. So
Cool, that sounds fun.
that will be fun. And I'm just trying to find what our next episode is. This is so bad. I usually have this prepared. Just trying to see. Do you guys want to plug your accounts before I look for it?
Well, you said this comes out you said next week, Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, by the time this comes out, in the next couple days, we're gonna be watching the premiere of the Watchers movie.
I want to see that.
What's her name? What's her first name?
Ashana.
M. Night Shyamalan's daughter.
Yeah.
Ashana, something like that.
Yeah. It's her feature film debut, I believe. So we're going to a premiere on Wednesday. So we'll be doing like out of theater reaction and stuff like that. So
nice.
I'm excited about that one because I'm hoping that this film will be really good.
Hopefully. But yeah, so again, we are on YouTube, In Love with Horror, Spotify, Apple, In Love with Horror podcast, and pretty much every other social platform, In Love with Horror, except for Twitter, which is or X, aka X. Letter
Twitter.
N, Love with Horror.
Awesome.
Do you want to plug us out?
Yeah, we are Our Life in Horror. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and X. We're also on Patreon, where we do bonus episodes. I do non-horror movie reviews, and Sam does a book reading.
Yeah, I gotta finish the last chapter. It's been like we've been so busy.
Yeah.
That's
we also
awesome.
Yeah.
She likes it. What else are we on? You can YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
Please like, subscribe, and share. And you guys can also send us an email with any movie suggestions. If you guys want to come on, just let us know.
Yeah. And I found out what we're doing next week. We're recording with Dave from the UK.
Right.
And we are doing, I think it's called Sweetheart.
Sweetheart.
I've never.
That's a good one.
I've actually.
Is that the island one? Oh,
yeah, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, me neither, actually. What's the vibe?
Definitely fits the summertime, so that'll be good.
Okay.
Yes, summer vibes. Creature feature.
Creature feature, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be good, though. It's a good one.
Oh. Well, thank you so much for coming on, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having us. This was a blast.
Fun.
Definitely got to do it again to talk about another film.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check out some of y'all's other content as well. Because I watch, a lot of movies outside of horror too. So I want to see what you think about some of these non-horror movies as well.
I've just been sticking to action lately, so I don't have many. I've just started, so.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, I just had her watch John Wick Chapter 4. And you liked it, right?
did like it.
Hell yeah.
You just reviewed John Wick on our Patreon.
Yeah, those. Yeah, I'm gonna run through the whole series right now. Actually.
Oh, legit. It's
Yeah.
huge fan. I love the John Wick franchise is like my now like ultimate favorite action franchise. Like John Wick is amazing.
No, awesome. Yeah, I've seen the first two, and I don't remember the third one, so I'm gonna just run through the whole series and see how it goes.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Nice,
any
man.
of them. I'm not an action girly.
They've got good lore and characters, but yeah, it's all about that.
It definitely is.
Oh yeah.
But man, wait till you get to chapter 4 because it is like 2.5 hours of just over the top.
It's ridiculous.
Just wreckage. Dude is just wrecking shop, and it's amazing.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's what
I
it
can't
is.
wait.
You have fun with that.
I love that.
But no, this has been awesome. Y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Again,
Thank you for
having us.
joining
This
us.
is so
Thank you.
good.
Yeah, we had a blast, and I'm glad you guys picked this movie too.
Hell
Thanks for listening, everyone, and stay spooky.